Right, folks, it's 9 o'clock Sunday night UK time. That can mean only one thing. It's time for the Sunday Nighter. Now, before we start, I need 10 taps off you. 4 for the hell, 1 for the space, 4 for the yeah, and 1 to put a smile on my face. Go on then, let's see it. Here they come. Hello, folks. How are you doing? Had a good week? It's good to be here. It's 9 o'clock Sunday night, and obviously it means it's time for chilling out with Mel and my terrain questions and all that shenanigans. We've got a good gang in tonight. The screen is filling up. There's lots of people to say hello to. Mel, yeah, I like that. I can live with that. Even Tam, Gary, Lawrence, Tyler, Cozzy, Hub, Tom, Scooter, Kerry, John, DHW, Patrick, Knotts, Lord, Bren, Tyler, Ed, and the rest. Right, the Google Doc is open. This is a question and answer show, and how long this question and answer show goes on really depends on how many questions you ask. The link's down below. You don't need to be logged in. Just click the link, go to the form. It's a Google Doc. Enter your screen name, enter your question there, and we'll jump on those as they start to fill up. Yeah? If you don't send any, we'll just have a chat for a while and we'll go from where we are. We're all still getting back into it. Hey, Mart? Right. Now, first, he doesn't know it, but my roving reporter, Martin, has been at Selwig today. Yeah? So, what was it like, Mart? How was Selwig? Were any else of you? Thank you, Reinvented. What you call it? Were any else of you at Selwig? What was the terrain like? What was the show like? I want to know. Thank you, Reinvented. That started it off. That's going towards the studio restock. Yes, whilst I've been away, I nailed all my materials with the books. Everything's gone off because we've had a frost and I'm restocking everything. So if you'd like to help me get back on the channel and get producing tutorials, links down below in the in the chat, in the description, yeah, to help with the studio restocking it. Remember, every little dingle puts a smile on my face. That's going to come back to haunt me. As you can see, I'm in a cheeky mood tonight. Even though it's the obligatory hot water bottle, the girl has absolutely brutalised me. And by that, I mean my little girl, Willow. Yeah, we were scrapping. She pulled me over and she's getting a right little thug. Right, Tam was at Selwig as well. Mel, have you had COVID before? Most definitely. But let's not go on about my medical history. Tyler hasn't been. Greetings from Russia. Hey up, John. Kidney shot. Not really a kidney shot. I mean, she took me with the right hook, but then she sort of like barged me. I'm getting too old to get beaten up by my kids. Do you know what I mean? It's not entertaining. Now, I have been a busy boy. Last night I was up at, this morning I was up at 1 a.m. doing a podcast with the guys from Getting Tabled. Yeah, there's a link to the podcast on my, on my Facebook page. So there's links down below to find me on Facebook. If you want to go listen to me ramble about terrain tutoring for a couple of hours with 3 great guys, yeah, go down, check it out. Lovely blokes. I've done this sort of reach out for, to go on podcasts. Yeah, and stuff like that. And I suppose it's a bit of the reconnecting and having a bit of banter. And I've got to say, I'm enjoying it. Beaten back, Mel. I wish I would, but, unfortunately we have something called social services in Britain. You aren't old. I feel it at times. I feel it. Mark saying, enjoyable day. Didn't seem as busy as previous years, but nice turnout. Saw some old friends and met some new one, including Tamsin and Magrathea, Builder of Worlds. I've been following him. He does some lovely stuff. Yeah. Like hear you rambling. I ramble a lot. I think a lot of people like hearing me rambling. I've also been quite busy this week. We have been in the studio. We have been filming. I've been editing, which is all good fun. the jungle huts are coming on nicely. Yeah, I've got a load of stuff in front of me. I've got the crates and stuff I was working on the last live stream. I picked up some of Mantic's terrain crate stuff for their marketplace. And that's quite nice. Fruit and veg and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to paint those up tomorrow in the studio, get those on the docks. And I should have them done for tomorrow. So I'm really pleased with that, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, someone's calling me a whippersnapper. I'll take it. XPS Vive packing foam, mate. I don't half struggle with that paperback stuff. Confused. Not sure about your question, mate. What are you asking? Hey, Rob? Oh, Martin also got to appear in his first ever video blog for Models for Heroes. Now, if you don't know what Models for Heroes is, it's a charity I'm involved with. Yeah, with me getting back on the channel, I haven't talked about how much. I've shared a bit on my Facebook page and that sort of stuff. But what they do is they take donated model kits and then they provide them to veterans and first responders, both active service and retired. And what you call it? And basically they provide the kits to help with PTSD and stress and stuff like that. They also do group modelling sessions which are led by their volunteers and that sort of stuff. And they've got loads of sort of donations from, scale model kits. But they get a lot of requests for like wargaming stuff off the guys who they sort of support. They're beneficiaries, I think the term is. And so I've been linking up with Malk, who runs the charity, and and with the intent of just raising some awareness of it. Just linked in my head, the Excel Centre was one of the Nightingales Hospital. Might have a better grasp than being on COVID safe. Most of the tables of the train were fairly basic, but a few nice ones. Several jungle tables of those sparse vegetation. It's noticed that the show's quieter. I mean, I held off because I didn't want to be around big groups of people just yet. And I imagine that's a vibe that's going around. I think it's going to take a while until the shows properly ramp up to where they were before. You know what I mean? And I don't think I'll be visiting any shows for the rest of this year. I mean, the school lurgy is enough to take me out. So show lurgy. I always used to get show lurgy after a show. Yeah, it didn't matter what show I went to, you could guarantee I'd come down with a cold or, something just after the show. Yeah, and so it's like, well, being locked away and that sort of stuff, my immune system hasn't had that much of a run. And I'm not ready to get it. It would put me on my backside if I got to pick something up right now. So I'm just going to take it easy, get back into the channel, continue working on the health, get that to where it needs to be, and then, we'll crack on. And then next year I'm going to get into the shows. I mean, I want to go across to the States, but everything's so up in the air at the moment. Do you know what I mean? With flight cancellations, just international travel and stuff in general. And I've got this real fear, well, do I go across? Do I get locked out? All sorts of things. It would be funny to make a real jungle board where you didn't have any models under the dense canopy, just sat around with your mates rolling dice. Apparently there was a Star Wars game all done with Lego figures. That's got to cost a bit, to be perfectly honest. Winter's hit me harder than usual, right around when I had the flu jab. Yeah, there's a lot of lurgies going about. I'm just taking it a bit easy, but my focus is getting back on the channel, back into terrain and that sort of stuff, and I've got a load of stuff on the go. If I get locked in the US, you can crash on my couch. Do you know what? If I did get locked down in the US and I couldn't get back to the UK, I would probably go on the most epic road trip, come like sofa surfing you can imagine. I just hit every hobby establishment I could and every hobby, sort of shop and business and that sort of stuff. I don't think I could do it as a trip. But if life turned round and for some reason I did get stuck in America, it'd be like, right, off we go. It'd be a hell of an adventure. It's not something I'm planning on doing, and like I say, I'm not even sure about Adepticon this year, this coming one. Yeah. I think I just need to find my feet first. You know what I mean? I have Mel covered in Arizona. Right, listen, don't be planning my trip for me before we've even got there. Right, I'm going to check the questions. We've got one. You better start getting those questions in. Well, this is going to be a short show. I'd take you to the range and maybe some gold prospecting. I don't know which one of those I'd enjoy more. Both of them sound awesome. You know what I mean? I do like the idea of both of those. I don't know if my back could take prospecting. That's a lot of bending over. But it's been a long time since I've smelled cordite. And that's, it's that's one of those smells, you know what I mean? Once you've smelled it, you kind of love it. They're on the end of your legs, Mel. You can crash in Texas. Go on tour of the UK. I think at some point I will. It's a lot easier to do trips, and I definitely want to go out more. One of the things that I do want to do is I wanted to start doing live shows with people. So I'm not just doing a live show. I've got people on board, and we'll I'm interviewing people. So big shout out to Real Terrain Hobbies. He's got a Kickstarter going at the minute called Hillside Hamlets for 3D printed sort of hobbit hole. Insets. A 3D printed hobbit hole that you can embed into a hillside to have that hillside hamlet look. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get him on the stream next weekend or the weekend after. Yeah, for a bit of a chat. I've figured out how to do it on Streamlabs via Skype. And it's like, all right, these Sunday nighters, we can still do the Q&As, but the questions normally come through the chats now, and they've slowed down a bit. People are just wanting me generally chat more than answering questions, it seems. Curious, but, we'll roll with it. Yeah, and so I'm thinking, start bringing people in. I'll get Dave in, I'm thinking, talk about projects he's working on and that sort of stuff. And then there's a load of YouTubers, model makers, war gamers that I'd like to do stuff with. And I just feel it's a good way of connecting. Make Mel dance. Oh, God, here we go. John's saying, the question was mine, Mel. Right, it says Kevin, so there's 3 questions here. That's it. Keep them coming. In the US, you could probably do a collab with DM Scotty. Scotty's a good guy for comparisons of different types of terrain building. There's loads. I'd like to catch up with Mike from Terranscapes. I know he doesn't publish anymore, but I'd like to catch up with him. Combine the two by shooting. Been prospecting for 50 years. Real Terrain Hobbies is badass. He does some lovely stuff. Model train. How do you make sure sections blend with each other as you make them? Generally, you make them at the same time. You go through the stages on each of the same pieces. So you don't go, right, I'll do this style, then go start another piece, and then it's sort of synced out. Why would we have questions when we have your book? That's very true. I've noticed that, the majority of the questions that I do answer on live shows, I'm now quoting my book. Yeah? I think what's happened, and it's quite a curiosity, yeah? I set the book out. Let me just grab it. For those of you who don't know, because most of you do, but if there's one or two who don't, that book, my book, Terrain Essentials, yeah, available online and from all good, friendly local gaming stores. Yeah, but when I did the book, it was like, right, cover all the foundations, all the core information. And because I had to go through everything and then write it out, yeah, it sort of pulled all my sort of information and what I think about, and, 20 years worth of model making experience and materials and all that sort of stuff all together, and made me sort of like cleanly think about things. But now I have a clean answer. Yeah, so it's generally, when people ask me questions on the live chats now, I'm answering, and I know that the answer is in the book. Luke, yeah, we'll definitely get Luke APS on. Mel, thoughts on modern military dimer armors? I think they're lovely. Aziel saying, yeah, I miss Terranscapes as well. Used to be fun, especially critiques of people's terrain. Learned so much there. He did amazing stuff, Terranscapes. I think Terranscapes' biggest problem, yeah, was he was too early for his time. Yeah, because if I look at the stuff he used to do, and if you put that out now in this sort of golden resonant, whatever, yeah, this golden age of terrain making, I think that he would get a lot more attention than he did at the time. Terrain Bible by Mel, start of a new religion. Fuck off. Terrain Wench, yeah. Her spawning pools are iconic. I want to have a look in Waterstones for your book. I wouldn't bother, mate. It's not in there. You'll have to go for You'll have to go for a hobby supplier or something like that. See book page. Yeah. From now on, like Patrick says, just answer any question with see page. Black Magic Craft. Yeah, he's in Canada though, isn't he? Everyone's saying, yeah, we can just refer to the book now. I'm done then, am I? I'm redundant. Right. Quick refresh. Someone's what you call it? Oh, Keith has sent in. Thank you, buddy. We're getting close to the restock. Remember, if you're liking the stream and you're liking the channel, links down below, guys. Right, I've got 5 questions. Should we get cracked on? Right, what have we got? Uh-oh. It's always concerning when a question starts with, okay, serious question. Right, okay, serious now. I need a glue for static grass tufts that remains sticky and soft and can be reapplied to terrain and stuck down. Glues I use are dry hard and end up with static grass discs, hard and horrible. Right, from the static grass tuft making section in the book. I'm not joking. It's in here, I bet you. I absolutely bet you. My answer is in here. And I'm not looking up the answer for you. But I know the answer's in here. I wrote a section on it. Where's the special section? On making your own scenics. Ah, there it is. Yeah, there you are. There's your answer. That bit and all of that bit is your answer. I don't need to read it because I know it. Right, what you need to do is you need to use a latex glue, mate. PVA will dry hard and flat and stiff because it's a polyvinyl acetate. But latex glues dry flexible. Okay, so Copydex is a latex glue. That's really good. You can also get this thing called carpet tackifier. Yeah, which is a stay tacky latex glue. You can get stay tacky latex glues. Let me just Google one for you. Let's see what comes up as brands. I don't use stay tacky adhesive. Yeah, loads. Stay tacky Stay tacky latex glue. Yeah, Hobbycraft tacky glue. This is PVA tacky glue, the one here I've got. It's really good for sticking things together, but it's not what you want. Yeah, but you're looking for a latex, tacky glue. Yeah, the reason being is, like I say, it will stay flexible, it'll stay self-adhesive. Is tackifier glue similar? Generally, yes, but you've got to look whether it's PVA or or latex. They're the two main versions of tacky glue. Both are tacky, but PVA will dry solid, latex will dry flexible. Yeah, which means you can peel them off without them losing things. They will adhere to stuff. Tyler's saying he uses a PVA glue wash mix. Yeah, I can see that. Hey, a cat. Copy tackifier glue is what you need for the still sticky tufts. It is, yeah. And that's what I recommend you go for, to be perfectly honest. Geek Gaming, that's Luke's Place Scenics, has some awesome glue that I use. I think tacky glue is just PVA. It is PVA, but there's something in it that affects how it works. Invented leave real life outside, mate. Not redundant yet. Still need expert volume to go with the basics. Right, okay. You're talking about me. I'm not redundant yet. Already into latex. Calm down. Yeah, Anfield's saying he uses tacky glue. Hey, Gary. Azrael's saying, just be careful with latex in case you have a latex allergy. I'm pretty sure I don't. Yeah, but as always read the label. Right, so Kevin, I hope that answers your question, mate. It's go for dance night. Oh, calm down. You got it. I don't go for dance unless targets are hit. Especially with a hot water bottle. So if you want to see me dancing on the internet, you're gonna have to help me restock the studio, guys. Simple as. You're not forcing me into it, Diggy. I know what you're like. Right. MS from New Zealand. Looking to improve some cheap plastic plants. From what I've learned from your Burma build, would you just enhance them with some washes, maybe some airbrushed highlights and a matte varnish, or is it worth the time to completely repaint them, such as priming, base coating? Any tips to make them look good or a process to use is much appreciated. Right, I've done both, and basically it comes down to what you're starting with. Yeah, the plastic plants you get, some of them are really dark and actually look quite realistic. Some of them are really light, a very yellowy green, and in those cases they don't look realistic. Now, in the case of the ones that don't look realistic, I look to sort of repaint them. Yeah, in the ones that are dark and look, slightly realistic, then I'm often looking at just simply giving them a highlight, giving them a zenith highlight, simple one from the top with an airbrush, yeah, or a bit of downward dry brushing, just to catch the edges, and then a wash to give it a bit of shading. If it's one that needs a complete repaint, then yeah, it's a prime all the way up. But to prime it, go with acrylic mixed with a bit of PVA. If you go with a normal primer, then what normally happens is if the plastic bends, it can break, it can flake and come off, and you end up with this cracking across to the leaves and that sort of stuff. And so going with a normal acrylic, adding some PVA into it gives it a bit of flexibility. Okay. The other thing is, regardless of what type of plastic plants you've got, always wash them in hot soapy water before you do anything with them, regardless of whether they're light coloured or dark coloured, or whether they're palm tree trunks. If it's cheap plastic, yeah, you know, cheap hobby stuff, you know, that's come from China or something like that, you know, the mass-produced palm trees, and, you know, the outside hanging balls that we rip apart to get little plant bits, always wash them off, because they've always got sealants and stuff on them that can mess with your paint, and you'll get far better adhesion and far better results if you clean that off. Right, MS? Hope that helps you, buddy. Oh my god, that's extortion. It is. Yeah, Callisto saying washes won't stick without a base coat. If you're doing washes on plastic plants, what you call it, generally you can put a couple of drops of matte medium in with your wash. If you don't know what matte medium is essentially, it's the paint bit of the paint without the pigment. It's the binder that holds the pigment down. So what you can do is get some matte medium, put a couple of drops of that in with your wash, and it's completely transparent. It's white in the bottle, but it goes completely transparent. But that will bond the pigments of the wash down to the plastic. And matte medium's flexible as well. Right. DHW. Yes, it was gloves as a medic. Not going on that one. Squigmar did a stream yesterday. There was some fantastic replanted plants on there. Go check them out, guys. Yeah, Cat saying cheap plastic trees and bushes, swish round in dish soap water, clean them, lightly spray them with a primer, not covering, just giving it a bit to stick to. Yeah, a light dusting. Yeah, if you go too heavy, then obviously you got the cracking issue, and then you can paint. Get Mel in a pair of latex trousers. No. Tyler's asking, are you going to do more trench builds? More than likely at some time in the future. To be truthful, probably save for book 2, which means you're not going to see him anytime soon, because I'm not starting book 2 anytime soon. Whew, we're close. John's saying matte medium is magical. It is pretty damn good, to be perfectly honest. Real Mech saying I use Dawn and Jet Dry for washing plastics. I generally find any soap, hot soapy water will do. Or is he talking about for making the wash mixes? Generally, if I'm making a wash, I'll go with a nice flow aid, an artistic flow aid. Yeah, because I know it's been formulated. There's lots of like dish soaps and stuff like that you can use, because essentially a flow aid is something that breaks the surface tension of the water up, which is basically what soap does anyway. Yeah, but I tend to, for how much it uses, I've had a little bottle of Winsor & Newton artistic flow aid, and I bought it 7 years ago, and I've still got half a bottle left, and it cost me £8. So when it comes to my washes, I quite like that, because when I use that, at least I know, that someone hasn't changed the chemical makeup of like this floor cleaner, and now it's going to mess up my model in some way because they've done a new and improved recipe. And that's happened to me a few times, where I've used certain commercial products that weren't designed for modeling, where I've used them in the past and they've been great for washes and all sorts of different things, and then I've come and used them another time, and the manufacturer's changed the recipe and it's completely messed up the build. So which is why, like, matte medium, flow aids, stuff like that, it's like, it's £6, it's £8, and the bottle's going to last me a decade. Do you know what I mean? Hey, Tim? Cat's saying, if available, Dawn is the best for grease removal. I don't even know if we get Dawn in the UK. That's a hell of a model, Grimlock. Everyone's chatting about matte medium. Yeah, more than likely, Tam. Right, let me have a look at more questions. RV, damn it. Any thoughts on reverse flat pack terrain? Pulling it apart to transport. Lots of magnets? Do you know what? I think the best flat pack terrain I've ever seen was at Adepticon. Okay. Can I? I don't know if I can pull this off, he says. Let's have a look at it. Terrain shooter, terrain essentials, sort, content, archived. Sort. No. Content, archived. Or is it in processing? Adepticon. It was near the end. It was pretty much on the last day. So let's see if we can find this. Where is it? Where's the guy? Yeah, there it is. Can I do that? Right, okay, just 1 second, let me rescale that. Transform. Fit to screen. There you go. Have a look at that. Okay, this guy basically has come up with like this laser cut template. Okay, now it starts off like this. Give me a second. Yeah, it starts off like this, and as you can see, okay, the two floors sort of slot in to the two walls, and then the base fits into that recess, which holds everything together at a right angle, yeah, and holds the floor in place. Right, let me just get rid of those. How genius is that for flat pack terrain? And it is genuinely, I mean, I was bowled over when I saw that. It was genuinely the best idea for making flat pack terrain I've ever seen. And you could get quite creative with that. Then if you add in magnets and that sort of stuff, it's a whole new world. But yeah, I thought it was a close-up of Mel. Calm down. So with regards to flat pack terrain, that's how I do it. Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to have to get some custom laser cutting, because I don't think you're going to be able to do that, you know, with your hand. But it's certainly a solution for a durable, I mean, he packed an entire, tournament's worth of terrain. Yeah, about 12 tables worth of terrain in one suitcase. Yeah, it's like, okay, it's simple stuff, but, you know, that's the payoff from going for flat packs. We've got over 100 watchers and not even 50 likes, guys. If you're liking the stream, head down below, hit the like button. If you're really liking it, it's putting a smile on this dreary Sunday night, yeah, there's links back down below to put a smile on mine. I'm currently restocking, glues. All sorts of glues. Oh, Scott, thank you, buddy. He's chipped in as well. We're getting there. Mel, your beer looks weird. Told you. Don't do the drinking. Not on live streams, it's dangerous. Right, RV, hope that helped you, buddy. Yeah, but that's the best way of approaching sort of flat pack terrain. Right, let's see. Oh, I've got more questions coming in. It's looking like a, It's looking like a good show, guys. Thanks for coming along. You know, I do look forward to my Sunday nights now. You know, I know I'm going to be hanging with you guys. I know we're going to have a bit of banter and we're going to be talking terrain. Yeah, it's good. Okay, Hayley Snaily. Any tips for someone looking to make 1/805th, i.e. 2 mil scale urban terrain? When you get to that sort of stage, details are painted on. Yeah, you know, you don't really need to detail anything. Okay, what you want to be doing is looking, rather than individual pieces, you want to be looking at areas of terrain. So what I'd recommend, Hayley, is Go and have a look at like aerial photos, yeah, and then pick out sort of sections like blocks almost, or oh that's a town centre. Have a look how they're arranged, yeah, because when you get down to small scale terrain, it's not so much is the individual terrain right. It's more, does it look realistic as a landscape? Yeah. And quite often you can get focused because you're making the terrain at this scale. Yeah. You can forget you're looking at it from this scale. Yeah. And what really matters at this point with such small terrain is the landscape. Do the roads flow? Do the buildings organised round? And quite often it's a lot easier, rather than making lots of individual little bits, to make sort of scatter terrain. Yeah, that is literally a Thank you, Odin. Another one to putting a smile on my face and stocking the shelves. Yeah, but thank you, buddy. You do. I really appreciate it, but you always get me when I'm on a roll. But yeah, when it comes to doing landscapes and that, when it comes to doing the smaller the scale, the more the landscape needs sort of setting out. And it's like composition of a farm. Yeah, if I say make a 2 mil scale farm, you'll go, oh well, I need a farmhouse, it'll need some barns, a yard, a track, some fields, maybe some hay bales, and you'll put those together. But by looking at like satellite pictures on Google Earth of a farm, you can get some quite quirky layouts where the tracks go round certain ways, and just simply using that as a template by zooming in and zooming out until it's the perfect size for you to print out, and it'll be exactly the right size for that little bit of feature scatter you want to put down. Yeah, you can actually make something that's far more believable. Yeah, so that's my best suggestion when dropping down to such a small scale. And the same applies to like 2 mil. It's only when you get up to about 15 mil, yeah, that the details of the terrain features become quite important, because at that point you can really start to see models interacting with the features. But at such a small scale like 2 mil and 6 mil, it's more about the landscape those units are moving through. I aim to disrupt. It's welcome, mate. It is always welcome. Right, Haley Snaily, I hope that helped you. Keep the questions coming. I'm having a ball. Oh, thank you, buddy. See, we're getting there. We've made double digits. Now all it takes is a couple of crazy people and I'm dancing. You lot worry me. You scare me at times. Right, I am on question 5 of 8. So let's see what we got. Mel is sexy, like if you agree. You watch the stream lose likes now. We're on 85. It's going to go down. Right, John James. What's a good, simplest project to get me back into creating terrain? For me, I'm talking personally now from my personal experience. Yeah. Jumping into the MDF kits. Or a kit. And then basing it. For me, I did that because I sat down and I really, much like you, yeah, I sat there, it's like I want to build, but I don't know what I want to build. And without having a clear vision, it's just so many open questions, that's so much doubt. And if you haven't been building in a while, it's just becomes so much, well, I don't know what about, is that right? Is it going to look right? I'm not sure. And there's so much negativity about it that it stops you building. So what I did to basically kick my hobby mojo back up the backside, yeah, was I took a kit, which is like, right, I don't need to have to think about where I've got to build. I've got instructions, yeah. But what I'm going to do with this kit is I'm going to base it. I'm going to add, these scenic elements that I've got to paint up, yeah, to it. And I'm going to make it a scatter piece. Yeah, so it's not just, hey, I put a kit together, I'm putting it down. Yeah, it's actually quite a nice little kit feature piece. Yeah, and I've got a few of these and I've done them, and they're right now, all the greenery's done. I've just got to finish off a little bit of detailing and paint these up. Yeah, and actually glue the buildings onto the stands, the stilted sort of platforms I've got for them. Yeah, and that's all going to get done tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. But the reason why I'm doing it that way is because, first off, for terrain making point of view, all you're really doing is basing. Yeah, which is a really easy way of getting back into it, because everyone's got their style of doing bases, and we do basing on everything. So it's the easiest thing to kick your hobby mojo back off. Yeah, the kit is an easy way of getting something nice put together, but whilst taking the pressure off you to create something from scratch. Yeah, now it doesn't have to be an MDF kit. Perhaps you've got an old model kit, like an old Rhino, and you decide, I don't know, I'm going to turn it into a burnt out, bombed out wreck, or I'm going to add a load of cardboard and plastic card to it and turn it into like an apocalyptic, like hovel, like home sort of thing. Yeah, the details like these, I don't have to sit there and sculpt or make barrels or crates, but I do have to get my paintbrushes out, yeah, and repaint them. But they're simple things, yeah. So it's a good way of really, if you've lost your mojo and you're struggling to get back into it, it's a really way of getting quite a nice feature piece put together, repracticing all your core techniques, all your basing techniques, your flocking techniques, your glues, small scale painting, composition, pulls all those together, but in a really low pressure way that lets you sort of go, hey, it's done and it looks great and it's table ready. And as you do it, you'll have the same thing that I've sort of got, which I'm going to fire at you guys in a moment, which is I haven't even finished these kit things, yeah, and I've got 3. I've got a small hut on stilts, a medium hut on stilts, and then a trading post. And I'm already wanting to make some other small scatter to make that more of an encampment. Yeah, so that's my suggestion, John, to sort of re-find your hobby mojo. Yeah, and it really does work. Right, let me catch up with the comments, see if anyone else has got what you call it. That's an interesting question, Rob. Yeah, I'm going to answer that one. Yeah. I wonder if it's like the glue. I don't know. Mel wants to build the whole Burma in his house. Yeah, I do. I'd love to. I do want to make a campaign map for the Burma build at some point. Like probably a node-based campaign. The ones where you have individual points that are connected by travel routes. People are talking about super glue. I had a bad tooth. I've been there, buddy. All right. No worries. Coffee? But I'm back at gaming. That's good. Robert, a good way is just make something you like. Not for any real reason or purpose. Just make something. Maybe new stuff. Some clay. A new paint. Yeah. I mean, if there's something that you like, and making something for no purpose is incredibly liberating, because it takes all the pressures off. So Cat's bang on there. Yeah. Okay, Mal. I'll carry the hobby dungeon and try this strange alien UV glue. Good luck, dude. Let me know. I've got some UV activated. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Right. One quick question before I keep scrolling and ask you about my question. Yeah, Rob's just asked in the chat. Yeah, how do you fight project burnout? Remember, it's a hobby. That's the key thing. If you're getting stress from your hobby, it's not serving its purpose. If you need to take a break from your hobby, yeah, then you may be putting too much pressure on yourself. Yeah, so that's the first thing. And this is important because hobbies are there to relieve stress. They're what we do in our downtime. We do the Sunday nighter because we all come in here because we like it, because we switch the world off and we just talk about good stuff. You know what I mean? And it's always picks you up and starts you on, starts your week good. So if your hobby's burning out and that sort of stuff, just have a look at why it is and whether you're taking on too much commitment, whether you're putting too much stuff on you. Now, if you're just sick and tired of doing the same stuff because you need to get the same stuff done, it's good to have a few alternative projects on the go that you can switch to. I quite like the idea of going from once I'm back into the channel, because right now I'm refining my terrain making mojo, yeah, but I'm looking forward to, like, once I'm back into that and we eventually do get to the point where we're doing book 2, yeah, part of my plan, if I ever do another book, is I write it in advance, okay, so I don't have the problems, you know, being hit by health issues and life issues delaying another book, yeah. But I quite like the idea of being able, like, right, okay, I've had enough of terrain for today. I can switch to writing and thinking and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so having that switch between projects is also pretty good. Pressure is a good thing. Not for a hobby, I don't think. Well, it depends. I mean, if you're one of those people who actually get off on pressure, and there certainly are, you know, people like the adrenaline thrill, it's not for me. You know, I had the pressured life. I've had the pressured life. You know, I've had far too many important decisions resting on my shoulders. Yeah, that now my hobby is about not pressure. So, you know, it's horses for courses at the end of the day. Oh, Benjamin, thank you, buddy. Simon, thank you, buddy. You're awesome, you guys. No worries, Rob. Glad it helped you, buddy. Burnout is easy when you start to get successful. Burnout is easy when you start to get successful, eh? A catch-22. When orders overwhelm the fun stuff, super stressed, then you have to have the fun day scheduled with no deadlines. Yeah, Kat's completely right on that one. Yeah, I suffered a lot with the channel. You know, having produced terrain and the pressure of producing tutorials and that sort of stuff, then commissions, you know, that it actually turned me off it, which is why I changed the way I do things. Yeah, but one of these days we'll get you fully stocked. You certainly will. You're certainly well on the way, guys, and I do appreciate it. Dave Puts saying it's great to see you back, mate. It's great to be back. Yeah, and each each show, it just keeps getting better. You know, I'm engaging with you more. We're getting more chats. Yeah, it's sheer temptation, because whenever I mention however many people are actually watching, it always dips down. But we hit records every show. Yeah, and we're doing it. So I am one happy chappy. Right. Oh, I've got. You guys are firing in the questions. Groggy, you orangutan. I can't even. What's a good base for small scale terrain? I want to make some 10mm cityscape pieces for Drop Zone Commander, but I don't want them to sit on 2-3mm proud of the surface, if possible. I'd probably recommend 1mm plasticard. Yeah, but what I'd recommend is get your 1mm plasticard, yeah, and then use things like either cut it so you've got plasticard strips, yeah, and then wherever you put your buildings, put little plasticard strips around them to replicate like sidewalks or pavements. Simply reinforcing plasticard with another sheet of plasticard, yeah, will drastically reinforce it and make it more sturdy. But instead of just doubling the thickness of it, if you do little strips around all your buildings and that sort of stuff, it's sort of a subtle way of keeping the profile low whilst at the same time getting a nice sturdy base. Yeah, and obviously you can paint your sidewalks on like that. So hope that helps you, Groggy. Hey, Ali. Get some Uhu melt, it's awesome. I've got some contact glue. There's a few glues I'm messing around with ever since Willow started making this cosplay stuff. Yeah, we sort of like got more into looking into cosplay and the glues and the materials, and some of them are quite cool. You know, it's stuff I haven't used before. Yeah, so I can see it coming along. Diggy, I have no idea. Rob saying, we're still looking forward to the basing video. Are they still coming out? Yes, that's probably next weekend or next Tuesday. And looks like I'm heading down south to go Factorum. Yeah, see the guys at Foreground and Factorum later in the week. Yeah, so it depends if I get that video done in time. Whether I have to come back on the Sunday and finish it off on the Monday. I've not worked with balsa foam in donkey's ages. Right. John McEloy's Ghost. Mel, I read on miniature websites once about how gesso, used to prepare canvas painting prior to painting, can be used as an undercoat for miniatures. Brushed on fairly, I think it shrinks and dries nice. Seems to work. Do you have an opinion on this? Yeah, it works great. Yeah, so it works great on snow terrain. Gesso is a primer, and it is a shrinking primer. The idea is that it was applied to canvases, yeah, and as it tightened, it would tighten the canvas up and make it a firm surface for oil painters and, you know, watercolour and for fine artists to paint on. Yeah, because you know when you get a canvas, it's a bit wobbly. Yeah, well, you can stretch it, but the gesso is there not just to provide a nice smooth surface that a pigment will attach to, but also to tighten it. Yeah, and so when you apply it onto a miniature, it sort of like shrinks onto it, and you get a really good covering. Yeah, so yeah, no problems with using gesso. Gesso is good for terrain as well. Yeah, the only issue with gesso, yeah, is it's white generally, and generally we don't use white as a base coat with terrain. Righty here. Question 8 of 11, folksicles. Tamsin's saying you can get grey and black gesso. Is that right, Tamsin? Right, well, there you go. Right. That's more stuff for the studio restock. I might have to do a list of specialist glues, just throw them on the Amazon thing and say, right, we'll do a terrain lab, you know. Right, question 8 of 11. This is for Dave Luft. Right, great to see you, Mel. Any plans to add 3D modelling to your builds? Yes, right now my book is an add-on to a Kickstarter being done by Real Terrain Hobbies for his Hillside Hamlets. Kickstarter. I'm looking for a link. Hillside Hamlet. There we go. Have we got a graphic I can drag on? Let me see what we've got. I won't need the Kickstarter page. No, that's a video. Yeah, this is them. Has it dropped it? Didn't drop it in then. No, it's not going to let me show you on that one, unfortunately. Yeah, but he sent me down the STL files. Yeah, so we're going to be getting that thing spun up this week, and I'm going to be printing some of those out and, you know, hopefully painting some up for you. Yeah, Kat's saying just go to Real Terrain Hobbies. Yeah, if you go to Real Terrain Hobbies' website, the stuff he's done is on there, and he's sent me absolutely everything. So I'm going to go I'm going to print some of those out, and I may do some modelling with them and that sort of stuff. We're going to have to see how we go, but 3D modelling is going to be something that comes in to what I do, but it's not going to be what I get into. I am very much still scratch building, making stuff out of foam, and, you know, that's where I love getting my hands messy. I just see, much like laser cutting, yeah, I see 3D printing as a facilitator. It helps make terrain making better. be prepared to spend some time there if you watch his huge Hobbit build. It's insane. It is awesome. I'm looking at it now, and he's done an absolutely lovely job on it. Very modular as well. Righty-ho. So, Dave, I hope that answers your question. Questions are still coming in thick and fast. Thank you, guys. Grimlock Steve's asking, I'm making some industrial walkways from plastic gutter covering. Is there any tips you can give me on how to make them look badass? First off, granny grating. Yeah, upholstery grating. The sheets that you get. Get loads of those, cut them down. They're great for putting like gantry strips at the base. Offcuts of bits of sprues, just simple T-junctions and you know where they meet. Simply getting those, and when you get your clippers, clip them at a 45-degree angle so they bevel in to the flat side. Yeah, and you can just fix them onto the guttering and that sort of stuff. That's a great way of adding a little bit more depth and, you know, giving it a bit of stylization without having to go towards specialist modeling materials. If you can still get them, plastic straws, thin plastic straws, yeah. You can get connectors, 3D printed connectors for them as well, where you can just, you know, make pipe work out of them, and all the curves and stuff are just 3D printed, and you just put the straw in. Genius idea. Yeah, so there's a load of different ideas that you can go down that route for what you call it. The other thing is, obviously, you know, when you put them together, make sure you avoid too much replication. Break them up, position things differently, that sort of stuff. Yeah, it just gives it a more realistic look. Granny grating is known as needlepoint plastic and fabric, yarn or craft stills. Needlepoint plastic, there you go. Right. Keeping going. Right, we're coming up on the hour, so I'm going to stop accepting the questions now. Yeah, otherwise you guys are going to keep me up all night, and I've got a busy day tomorrow. They target. How do you get scale right? I have a background in architecture and I can always build things to scale, but they never look right next to a 28mm figure. It always seems like my buildings are too big. If it matters, I work in 10mm and 28mm. Yeah, that's because we don't use true scale when we're making buildings and wargaming, because they end up too big. Yeah. So what we do is we get the building, yeah, and we shrink the overall size of the building down, yeah, so we can fit it on the table. But things like doors and windows, we keep in scale. Yeah, so that, because quite often when you put a model next to a building, people can't tell whether the building's in scale. But if the door or the window isn't in scale next to a model, it looks completely off. So what you do is the features on the building you build in scale, the building itself you shrink down. And that's why wargaming buildings, they're actually quite small when you actually do the scale stuff. And that's why you being an architect and building foam board buildings is falling down and it doesn't seem right. And that's because we don't use true scale in our buildings in wargaming. You know, simply because we want to get more buildings on and not swamp a table. And Tamsin's saying, Annie was up very late as a guest on a podcast. I was. I didn't get to bed this morning until I think it was about 4:30 in the morning. The podcast started at 1 o'clock. We carried on till about 3 a.m. And then by the time I'd actually settled and switched off, because I'm in front of a screen, you know what I mean? It takes a little while to just switch off after that. And what you call it? You know, it was a late night. They target, no worries, buddy. Hope it helps you. Right. Question 11 of 12. Tyler's asking, How did you get your inspiration for the Burma build? It comes from all sorts, to be truthful. I mean, the Burma build, the idea of doing the Burma build came off me and my mates wanting to do... Well, we wanted to get into bolt action, yeah? And I wanted to play British in bolt action. Okay? And I was like, I'm fine, I'll play British. I was expecting my mate to play Germans, yeah? And I go for something like British paras, you know what I mean? And he went, I'll play Japanese. And it was like, wait, I don't want to be forced to play US Marines. Thank you, Jerry. Greetings from Maryland. Thank you, buddy. All helps with the restock. Yeah. But, so I did this like big deep dive into like, you know, the Pacific campaign. And I found out about the Chindits. Drink. Yeah. And they were a British force that fought the Japanese. Yeah, and they operated in Burma. So all of a sudden, it was like, right, I need to, I need to do a Burma build. You know, I need jungle terrain to make this. So a lot of my, a lot of my inspiration for my Burma build comes from what the actual British forces did, you know, against the Japanese. So I've got a load of Osprey books. I've watched a load of documentaries, that sort of stuff. I've even sat down and chatted with a Chindit. Yeah, absolutely brilliant afternoon. Yeah. And so that's where the inspiration for the Burma build came from. Yeah, to do. There's a couple of really funny comments in the chat. Right, 12 of 13. Anfield Road, layout in the loft. What's the best way to weather fences made out of matchsticks? Generally, I just simply hit them with a little bit of watered down, burnt umber. A burnt umber, a bit of drab green, water it really down, put the burnt umber, wash it down from the top. That'll get into the grain, show you your grain and your shadows. And then just a little bit of drab green and just drag that up from the base of the fence pieces. Yeah, to represent sort of moths and mildew sort of growing up on it. Yeah, and absolutely, you know, that's all you need to really weather them up. And it's quite a quick and it's quite a therapeutic process. It's quite enjoyable, especially if they're white fences. Yeah, I do actually like weathering up white fences for some reason. Plastic Crack podcast got look up. I'm on the Plastic Crack. I'm on the Plastic Crack podcast. That's a tongue twister, isn't it? The Plastic Crack podcast. Yeah, but I'm on that soon. I'm just sorting out a date. Right. Right, the last question. If you had to use cardboard or would you use a different base? I think that question's a little bit mixed up, but generally I would avoid cardboard as a base unless I'm making something very, you know, very small. Yeah, corrugated cardboard you can use, but you have to sort of put two sheets down at sort of like perpendicular to each other so they reinforce each other. Yeah, thinner cardboard you can get away with, but you have to put filler or something on it to sturdy it up. Generally, if it's thin enough that you need cardboard, I'll go for plastic card. Hope that helps you, buddy, and I hope that was roughly your question. Right, I am pleased to say that we have hit a record today. Yeah, the most viewers I've had in a long time. Yeah, for a Sunday nighter. Yeah, 122 by my screen. Yeah, but only 96 likes. Guys, if you've liked the stream, hit the like button. Yeah, and if you really like the stream, the links are down below to support the channel. Yeah. Oh. And support this decrepit old terrain maker. Right, let me do some shout outs in case we've got some. Have we got any? I don't think we've got any more. So I'll shout out all the awesome people today. Yeah. Obviously, we have Reinvented Modeler, Odin, Erosis, Jerry. And then on top of that, we've got Keith, Scott, Harry, Simon, and Ben. Awesome, guys. Thanks for your support. I genuinely couldn't do this without you. And to be honest, guys, I couldn't get back on my feet without people like you. Yeah, so I'm enjoying being back. Thanks for the support, guys. Yeah. Terrain video out on Tuesday. Basing my jungle huts. But that brings me up to one final question. Or in fact, no, I'm going to save this one. I'm going to save it for the video. Yeah. Yeah. 120 watching, 115 likes. You're awesome. We're a good way towards our total getting restocked. I've got glues to order. Yeah, as I said, terrain vid's coming. Thursday, I'm probably going to be down at, at Factorum. So I don't know if I'm going to be live. Yeah, what I might do is I might do a bandit stream actually from their new stuff. Yeah, but I don't know if Vanguard Tactics do a live stream on Thursday from their place. So I don't know what the internet's going to be like. Yeah. I will post on Facebook and let you know, and I'll post up on the YouTube stories thing, you know, the little community tab. Just let you know what's going on. So right now, yeah, I'm going to go with, I don't think I'm going to do one. Yeah, but if it is happening, I'll let you know what's going on. Yeah, because I need to get down there and figure it out first. Yeah. In the meantime, guys, yeah, enjoy your video on Tuesday. I genuinely do hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Thank you to Jerry, who's jumped in just. And I will see you soon. All the best, yeah? Ta-ra. Right, 10 taps. 4 for the hell, 1 for the space, 4 for the yeah, 1 to put a smile on my face if you've had a good show. Links down below, guys. All the best. Ta-ra.